Hello and welcome to Inside Access, your weekly look inside Beaver Athletics. I'm joined by Coach Brandon Bradley. He's the coach of the defensive backs unit on the football team. Coach, you've got a pretty good unit. List off some guys for you. You got Marcel Brinson, second in tackles on the team. You got Isaiah Steinwan, fourth in tackles. Maurice Talley, sixth. Randall Barber, eighth. So you got 2, 4, 6, and 8 in tackles on the team. And then 3 of those 4 guys have interceptions this year. What's it like coaching a group that has a lot of talent like they do?
It's fun. It makes my job a lot easier when you have guys who have the talent, both physically and mentally, to be able to go out and do the things that they're needed in order for the team to be successful. So for me, I've been put in a pretty good position to have those guys on the field and be able to coach them and kind of let them go out there and do what they do. So.
What did you learn? You played at BYU.
Yep.
What did you learn during your time playing that has kind of helped you be able to coach them, know what they're going through, stuff like that?
Mistakes. You learn a lot from your mistakes, and as a corner, it's part of the life of being a defensive back. You make mistakes, and I tell the DBs all the time that that's one of the few positions on the field you can't hide. If something goes wrong, everybody sees it. And you have to be able to have a short memory and be able to get back on the horse the very next play and be dominant the very next play and forget about what happened in the past. I also learned that DBs can be sensitive sometimes. So I feel like you have to treat them, in the correct manner in order for them to be able to go out and perform at a high level. You need those guys to be confident. You need those guys to be able to play fast. And, if they're second guessing themselves, they can't do that. So.
You guys have a pretty small staff, only 5 full-time coaches, a couple GAs, and then that 5 includes Coach Hughes, your head coach. What are some of the challenges with a small coaching staff? What are some duties that you guys have to pick up? And then are there any positives to having that small staff?
Some of the difficulties that it causes is that you, as a coach, a position coach, you don't have as much time to dig into film as you would like, because there's other things you have to do. We have to, draw cards for the scout team, make sure the scout team know what's going on, the offenses they're running this week. You have to break down film. So a lot of that time that you can use to be watching film and getting more familiar with your opponent, you have to do other things to make sure that the program as a whole is running correctly. The benefit of having a small group like that is a lot easier for all of us to be on the same page. We get to meet together a lot, so like I said, we're all in tune on what's going on, the game plan, and what we're trying to accomplish. So that's a great benefit about having a smaller staff.
Coach Hughes and I talked a couple weeks ago about the challenges of recruiting in season. You guys are so busy with the games, and then you have to always keep up with the high school and JUCO kids that you're watching. On a small staff like this, how much responsibility do the individual coaches have? And then do you have a certain recruiting area in the country that you recruit?
Yes, so we all have an area, a couple areas that we recruit. A lot of them, not a lot of them, but some of them are out of the state. As for me, I go to California, Florida, and I have Mississippi, those areas. So you have to put in the time to build those connections with the high school coaches, the junior college coaches, especially for myself being new to the school and just getting those areas. I have to put a little bit more time in than some of the other coaches who have already established a relationship and a connection with the coaches there. So that definitely plays a part, and that goes back to one of those things that we have to be able to include amongst all the other things that we have to do. And it can be a little bit difficult trying to plan out how much time needs to go to recruiting, how much time needs to go to watching film, how much time needs to go to practice planning, game planning, and things like that. But we found a way to make it work as best as it can. And I feel like we're doing a pretty good job in that aspect.
So you're from Florida, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so what are those relationships like there? Did you go in already knowing some of the coaches, knowing some of the schools that you spend time recruiting?
So the area that I recruit in Florida actually is the Orlando area. Okay. And I'm from Tallahassee, so the coaches that I know are all a little bit more north from Orlando. So I don't really know many coaches in the Orlando area at all. I know coaches from Tallahassee who know the coaches from Orlando, who that's how I kind of plan on building the connection and kind of getting to know them faster than normal through the coaches that I know in Tallahassee. So that's kind of my approach at this point, building a relationship through a relationship that's already been established. So.
When other coaches go to other recruiting areas and they find a defensive back that they like, do they kind of talk to you and Coach Hughes about kind of look at this, and then what are you looking for in a defensive back, and physically and both in the intangibles, mental side?
So if another coach finds a defensive back, then it's brought to me, and I look at him and kind of give my perspective on him as a player. And if I like him, then I'll pass him on to Coach Hughes, and then Coach Hughes kind of gives the go ahead or the okay if it's someone that we want to offer. And then from that point, I kind of get more into getting to know him as a person, his goals, talking to his coaches about what type of kid he is, things like that. And for me, all those things play a big part in the type of player I want to bring to here and to be able to coach. Obviously, I need a player who's physically talented enough to play the position. The position doesn't require a lot of thinking, but physically you have to be pretty gifted to be a defensive back. Then on top of that, I need a player who has a good knowledge of the game of football. Doesn't have to be perfect. He's a high school kid, you know what I mean? That's my job to teach him and build on that. But I need them to have a decent base of the game of football. Defensive concepts, the way you attack certain situations, all those things make it a lot easier for that kid to be able to transition to the college level. I personally like defensive backs who are physical, who are not afraid to come up and tackle, who can play a part in the run game, need that be. And one of the most important things for me is a defensive back that is confident. I need you to be confident. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a difficult position, and you will be exposed at some point or another, but you got to be able to stay with your confidence and build on that and battle play in and play out no matter what happens. So.
You have a pretty good sure tackler in Marcel Brinson. What does he bring to the team? He's sitting back there at safety. He's kind of, the linebacker, middle linebacker might be the kind of quarterback but the safety is right there too. And some teams, sometimes the safety is almost as important as the middle linebacker. So what does he bring to the team for you guys?
In our defense, both of the safeties do a lot of communicating. They are the two main guys who kind of get us aligned. If there's adjustments that need to be made, they're the ones who are making those adjustments. And Marcel is a very passionate person, and I think he enjoys the game of football. And it makes my job easier because I don't have to get him to buy into being at practice or buy into being in the game, because this is what he enjoys doing. And I feel like he's shown that throughout this season. He's been very reliable. The things that we've asked him to do, he's been able to do that physically as well as mentally. And I believe he'll continue to do that. And he's a great kid to coach, to be around. He's always smiling. I feel like that brings a happiness to the unit, the defensive back unit, which is always a positive and always a good thing. But he's done great for us, and I've been very appreciative of his desire to help the team and do what he does.
To switch it back towards recruiting again, you were a 2-star recruit coming out, and then you committed to BYU. You had some attention from Louisville. So you know what it's like to have coaches calling you and contacting you about that stuff. How does that help you in the recruiting process, kind of being in the athlete's shoes? You know what they're going through. Does it help you kind of know what to say, kind of what a coach said to you maybe that stuck out, and you can kind of mimic those kind of tactics?
Yes, I do understand. And it's an interesting situation to be in now, having experienced it myself. But one of the things that I always try to get the kids to remember is that whatever decision it is that you make, you need to make sure it's the best decision for you, because you're the one who's going to have to be in that program or be at that school for the next 4 or possibly 5 years. And a lot of coaches, most schools around the country got a lot of things to offer. And some schools, the education from there is a little bit better than other schools, but at the end of the day, an education is an education. And I feel like that's something that can often be overlooked, especially nowadays with all the sparkle and fireworks and things that goes into the recruiting process. But they need to be confident with the decision that they're making, because they're the ones who are going to have to live with it, and they have to go through the entire process. I don't think you can have one school offer you it and you can declare right then without looking into all your other options and all the other possibilities that may come from other schools. So I feel like it's a process that needs to be taken seriously. It needs to, it's no rush. You don't have a rush. They are offering you to come play for them, so take your time and make the right decision for you.
You said you were recruiting in California and Florida and those places, and you yourself went from Florida to BYU and Snow College and different things and coached in those at those schools, and then now you're in North Dakota. So you know what it's like to move around a lot like that. What are some of the things that brought you to Minot? And then you're new to the area, so can you take that into recruiting and kind of be like, I didn't know this about Minot, but now that I'm here, I really enjoy X, Y, Z.
Yeah, most definitely. One of the biggest reasons for coming here, I felt like it was a great opportunity for me as a coach to learn and to grow and be in a position where I'm able to, to coach, which is a thing that I love and enjoy doing. I feel like it was another good experience for me and my family to experience a new place. I think experiencing new things is very important in life, and it was an opportunity for me and my family to do that. Since being here, I've come to make relationships with the people here, and it's a lot different here than what I imagined. I had never been anywhere close to North Dakota before. I never met anyone from North Dakota before, so it was really surprising to see what it actually looks like, the feel of the people here from what I guess I had imagined. I imagined, country, not a lot of diversity, things like that. So it's definitely been a big change in my perspective because I've actually been able to see and meet, different people, and it's been good. My family's enjoyed it. My wife and kids have been able to make friends, which is a definite plus for me. So I can't complain. I'm not excited about the winter. So I guess I'll be able to speak on that once I actually experience it. But as of right now, it doesn't look too exciting. So
you guys are coming off a win, first win of the season, kind of getting things, kind of a big win for you guys, big rivalry win, trophy game. How's the dynamic in the office been? Does it, coming off losses can't be fun going to the office every single day, but coming after a win, it's got to be a lot more enjoyable.
Most definitely. Wins make everything feel better. So there's a little bit more excitement, a little bit more pep in your step after that win because you want to build on that. You don't want to come back to the office and kind of feel like, oh, well, we're back to our weekly, day-to-day doings. You want to come in with that excitement about that win, with that, that anticipation to go out to get another win and build on what we did last week. And it was a good win for the kids, more so than for ourselves as coaches because we feel like they worked so hard and in the fashion that they won in overtime, they were tired, beat up. It was a really good win for them as well as the program.
How have you seen your players' kind of emotions change in practice from that win?
It's like I said, it makes everyone feel better. The aches and pains don't hurt as bad. The tiredness isn't as bad. So I just feel like they've kind of had a new life and a new excitement going into this week because their confidence obviously has risen a little bit because of that win. And we've just been trying to continue to get them to feed off that feeling, that excitement that they had after the win and carry it into this next week. And it's a building process, You take one step after the next and continue to pile and pile and pile until you get to where you want to be. So that's where we're headed right now.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming on and joining us. I wish you guys luck the rest of the season and go out and enjoy some more wins. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it.
All right, stay tuned for a Marcel Brinson feature coming at you.
What I love about bow hunting is the challenge, the physical challenge, the mental challenge. I love the fact that it's not easy. 12 years it took me to shoot a trophy whitetail buck. It's what I breathe, eat, sleep, bow hunting. When I'm working with a customer, I want my passion to rub off on them. I am Brandon Carlson, and I'm one of the archery experts at Shields.
Marcel Brinson may look like your typical student athlete, but he is playing for so much more than most. This Gilroy, California native paved his way to a collegiate career in high school, where he received many awards for his play on the field, and he was also voted his team's most valuable player. As a true freshman, Brinson played in all 11 games to start his career at Minot State, and he continues to gain success as he plays, appearing in all but one game so far in his time as a Beaver. Now returning as a starting safety and one of the biggest assets of the team's defense, he is playing his senior season for his teammates, family, and most of all for his twin brother, Miles. Miles is Marcel's twin brother who passed away from cancer when they were children and he is still one of Marcel's biggest motivators today. Growing up, the two were as close as brothers can be and had a special bond that twins often share.
Yeah, growing up with my brother, we were really close, actually. We were best friends. He was actually older than me by a minute, which is, I don't know, it was always like a funny thing that we used to always joke about and stuff like that. But he's my best friend. We always played soccer together, played baseball together, always on the same team. Funny story was one time when we were in kindergarten, we actually had a split and be in separate classes, and that was actually a hard time for us because, we've been together for so long. But we did everything together, play video games. If I was playing a sport, then he was playing it. If I was going to a friend's house, then he was coming too. So there was really never a time that we weren't together.
The news that their childhood was going to be changing came during a soccer practice. They had to leave practice early to take a trip to the hospital after their parents received some news on Miles' health. It was hard for the boys to grasp that Miles was sick.
When we first found out that he had cancer, we were at soccer practice, and leading up to that, he kept saying that he had stomach pains. And we were at soccer practice, and that's when my parents, came running down and, telling us that we had to go to the hospital because they had gotten some news back. And then, remember, we were at the hospital the whole night. We had heard, we got the news that he had cancer. But I was, being young, I was confused. He was just fine. We were just, playing soccer. So it was definitely a hard time for us. Definitely very sad. Spent a lot of long nights, early mornings in the hospital, driving back and forth to go to school. And it was a steady fight.
Eventually, the cancer slowed Miles down, and he wasn't able to do all the things that Marcel was still able to do. Even though Marcel wasn't able to have his brother on the field with him, he wanted to play football for him.
Playing sports was actually easy to get back into because I feel like whenever I play for him because he was able to play baseball and he was able to play soccer and basketball, but the one sport he always wanted to play was football. So every day I played a game for him just because he was never able to play football. And so that's something that I have to cherish every time I step on the field because, again, that was his favorite sport. I always wanted to play, had love for the game. And so I have the opportunity to play that sport for him.
Marcel still shows that he is playing for his brother in a few different ways. Choosing a number is a big decision for an athlete, especially when you pick a number at a young age and keep it through your career. However, the decision was easy for Marcel. His first year of football, he wore the number 80. During his second year, he decided to change that.
I wear the number 34 for my brother. It's kind of funny because my first year of football, I wore number 80, and then my second year, I wore 34. That was when he was still alive, and I originally picked it for Walter Payton, but 34 was also my brother's favorite number because he was a big fan of Shaquille O'Neal, and so Shaquille O'Neal wore 34, so he was a big fan of 34. That was his favorite number, and once he passed, I just always wore 34 in honor of him, and that's something that I wear on my back, and I just know that he's there, always with me on the field, just because I have 34 on. When I first heard that my brother died, I was actually really confused. I thought it was a dream because I'd just seen him earlier that night. All my family was here from LA, so there's my aunt and my uncles and my grandpa and everyone. We were just at the hospital with him, and I remember saying bye to him and everything because at that stage he wasn't really talking, but right before we left, he kind of waved me over to him, and right then and there, I kind of felt like it was a sign. That he was trying to say bye to me, and I remember my parents waking me up, and I just thought it was a dream. I was confused, of course, I didn't believe it. My best friend, my brother, had just passed away, and it was definitely a hard time for us. It was definitely a confusing time, but luckily I had my best friend who was, I'd met him when I was in kindergarten when we had split classes. So he was like a brother to me as well, and he kind of helped me through it as well.
Along with Marcel, the Brinson family has found many other ways to remember Miles.
We just know that Miles is always there, and he would want us to do things that he's not able to do. So with my family, we always talk about him, and we used to run a football camp in honor of him. So we still I mean, he's still in our family. We still think about him. We still miss him. We still give tributes to him. His favorite song was Usher, You Don't Have to Call. So at family events, we always play that song for him. You know, Miles is always watching over us. Whenever we hear the song on the radio, we know, it's Miles giving us a sign.
Packing up and moving from California was not an easy thing to do, but Marcel found a way to take Miles with him on the trip to North Dakota. Marcel wanted a tattoo, and this one came with great significance.
At first, it was definitely very difficult being away from my family, coming out here to Minot State. But growing up, that was something I always wanted to do. I always wanted to just go away from my family, go away, far away from school, and just be on my own. I just wanted to experience life on my own. I just wanted to kind of just find my own path, and just I just didn't want to be close to home and have that scapegoat. I just want to come out here and be an adult. I ended up getting a tattoo, and I'd always wanted a tattoo of my brother. I always wanted a portrait of him on my right arm. Symbolizes that he's my right-hand man. He's always there with me. So I have a portrait on my shoulder, on my right shoulder, and it has the saying, "Bad dude, you ain't lying," and it has his name. And it's just another thing that indicates that he's always with me. He's always there with me wherever I go. He goes, basically. And then in my room too, my dorm, I have a picture of him just right above me. He's just always there with me, because he would be here with me right now. He'd be playing football on the field. He'd be playing safety as well, right next to me. I mean, I probably wouldn't be wearing 34, but he'd be right next to me on the field playing safety as well, because that was his position as well.
When Marcel graduates, he will use his degree in broadcasting to find success off the field, just as he has found it on the field. And no matter where he goes or what he chooses to do, his brother Miles will always be there to motivate him. We'll be right back after these messages.
Join the Players Club at Four Bears Casino, offering a wealth of special perks and privileges. Earn free rooms, complimentary dining, entertainment, exclusive promotions, and personal service. Membership is free, and the rewards are generous. Get wild at the Players Club, Four Bears Casino, 4 miles west of Newtown.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Welcome back to Inside Access. I'm joined now by cross-country runner Devan Shumway. Devan, you're a freshman joining this team. Joel is the only returning male cross-country runner. What's the dynamic like on that team? Since he's the only one returning, you guys are all getting to know each other.
It's going really well, actually. He was the only runner last year. He redshirted, and I think he's happy this year to actually have a good, solid team this year. So, yeah, we're all really bonding well, and it's going really great so far.
How has this year for you personally been so far? I know that you've placed in the top couple spots, second on the team behind Joel a couple times. What's that done for your confidence going forward?
It's definitely a change from high school. In high school, we ran 5Ks, which was about 3 miles, and now we're running 8Ks, so it's a little farther. So I'm definitely it's an adjustment from that, going from the shorter distance to farther. But I'd say I'm adapting pretty well, and every practice is getting stronger and stronger.
Talking about practice and then that adaptation as well. How does Coach Melby kind of coach you guys to adapting to the new level of play with tougher competition and longer races?
Intervals are definitely harder, I'd say, compared to high school. Our harder practices, we run farther, obviously because of the farther races, and yeah, it's a lot tougher.
What is it about running that kind of stuck out to you when was it at a young age? Was it in high school that kind of stuck out more to you? Did you play other sports growing up?
No, just running. In high school is when it really got big for me. It's when I really trained for it and got really competitive. But I've been running since I was probably in 2nd grade, I'd say. My dad also ran in college, so yeah.
How do you explain that love of a sport that a lot of people don't like running, a lot of people don't like doing cardio and stuff like that, even for their own workouts personally, but then
Yeah.
you're doing it competitively. How do you explain that kind of passion for the sport?
I don't know. It's like it's really just grown on me the last couple of years. Yeah, I don't really know. Yeah.
So what are the specifics that you guys train for? A lot of people don't know about the cross-country world too much. Do you guys just kind of like run, or is there other stuff that you guys do, other different kinds of cardio?
Yeah, there's like, we do conditioning too in the afternoons, which is just like basic like pull-ups, push-ups, all that good stuff. And also, it's not just running. We have different types of runs, like our recovery runs, which are slower. And then we have like our long runs, which are obviously like up to running for an hour and a half or so, just like build that like good core strength. And then we have our faster workouts, which help us focus on like speed.
You talk about recovery runs. What are some other stuff that you guys do for recovery? What are some post-workout, like do you have a specific thing that you eat or drink, or?
Coach Stu actually supplies us with chocolate milk right after like most of our hard workouts, so that's like really good to help with recovery.
Are there any stretches, or like do you guys take ice baths or different things like that?
Ice baths, yeah, and foam rolling too. The team like all foam rolls after hard practices, and that really helps a lot with the recovery aspect of it.
You're from North Dakota, and you have a lot of North Dakota kids on the cross-country team. I think like 5 out of 6 of the women are from North Dakota, and 3 out of the 6 guys.
Yeah.
So running in these kind of cooler conditions when it cools down in October and November, is that a benefit for you guys, kind of racing against maybe some kids that are from other places?
Yeah, it is, because it's definitely getting colder right now, and it's an adjustment for some of our teammates that aren't from North Dakota. So like we have to help them like get through it and stuff too. So
you guys are kind of acting like almost as a mentor or coach to
Yeah.
this weather.
Yeah.
So what are some of the tips that you would give somebody that's not used to running in this kind of condition?
well, first of all, they have to like get used to it. Obviously, like you have to tell them like it's gonna get worse, obviously, but you know we get through it every year, so that's good.
Another unique thing about you cross-country runners is that you also compete in track. So you're running those 8Ks, like you said. How many miles is that?
8K is 5 miles.
5 miles. So you're going from 5 miles to like the longest in track is 2 miles. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
So you're going from 5 miles to 2 miles. How do you change from that fall to spring?
In the spring, we don't focus more on mileage. It's more like speed work. So that's the difference between cross country and track. Cross country, it's more the distance part of it, and track, it's all focused on speed because of the shorter distances.
Is that a challenge you're going from high distance, and then you gotta have a little bit of a winter to prepare for the low distance,
Yeah.
and then the summer again.
Yeah.
So you're kind of training all year long.
Yeah,
So
we
what's the challenges with those off seasons trying to prepare for the next thing? to come?
Off seasons, it's different because like during the summer, me personally, I focus on a shorter stride because you need like a shorter stride for the longer distance. And for track in the winter, especially this year because I'm not that good at track, I'm going to really focus on having a longer stride for all my workouts and really focus on getting that speed.
What's the team bonding like in a track situation? You have some throwers, some sprinters, some hurdlers. What's the team chemistry like there?
Yeah, I like how there's all different athletes. You know, like in cross country, it's just the distance runners. But for track, you have like all the sprinters, the throwers, the jumpers, and everything. So I like track better just because like there's more people and like more interactions.
We talked to some of the women and men at press conferences before. And you guys train together, and then sometimes do you run at the same time too?
What do you
Men and
mean?
women. Do
Yeah,
men and
yep.
women run at the same time?
Yep.
So with a team like that, do you guys ever, like you're training together, you're running together, what's the chemistry between the men and the women as well?
I'd say it's really well right now. We all like really bonded really well, and we had like a week before school started, we were just here running, and that really helped, like especially me as an incoming freshman, like help bond with like the whole rest of the team.
Looking forward, what are some of the things, even through this year and then the years after that, what are some things that you're looking forward to personally?
I'm looking forward to getting more people, like help recruiting too, because I definitely think that the bigger your team is, then the more beneficial it will be like in the long run to have like more people on your team.
You came to Minot State, you chose this school, and now that you've been here after a while, so helping recruiting, what are some things about the school and about the team that stick out to you that, you know, you should choose Minot State over this other school?
We definitely bonded really, really well, and it's a great campus. A lot of my friends are actually athletes, so I like that there's like a lot of athletes here too, so that helps out with it.
Is Minot the city itself? Do you guys run around town and for practices and stuff like that? Is it a good place to practice?
And like being a distance runner, running around town actually helps you get to know the town a lot better. So like I learned Minot really fast, and that was really good too.
All right, maybe I should have to take some time to run around town so I can get to know the place a little bit better. Well, Devan, thanks for coming on the show,
No problem.
and good luck the rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for checking us out. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube page, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at MSU Beavers, and I'll see you next week.